Let me introduce you to Shahiran, someone who's frightened for his life if he returns to his home country. Currently living in Canada, he's from Brunei, somewhere you probably haven't heard of, a small country where they have criminalised to the point of the death penalty practicing homosexuality. Let me show you where we're talking about. This is Brunei, and it's this tiny country here in South Asia. It's a very small population, just 400,000 people, but it's one of the world's 5 richest countries because of its massive oil reserves. And what's happened there is the Sultan has imposed Sharia law. That's a very extreme form of Islamic law. This is the Sultan here. And look at what has been implemented today. The death sentence by stoning for someone found guilty of sodomy. The death sentence by stoning for someone found guilty of adultery. For other crimes, for example, stealing, the penalty may be amputation of limbs. Clearly, this has frightened and worried some of the gay community. Now, we were speaking earlier to Shahiran, and he said this: I didn't think this really would happen. The law's been implemented today, and we would go all the way to potentially being stoned to death. I'm scared. Well, understandably so. Now, there has been this real international outcry as a result of these laws. The UN Human Rights, for example, have said any religion-based legislation must not violate human rights, including the rights of those belonging to the majority of the religion, as well as religious minorities and non-believers. Well, this came up in the UK Parliament yesterday. Crispin Blunt, said tomorrow, speaking yesterday, they'll introduce this penalty code, including death for adultery and other crimes. As a global human rights leader, the UK Foreign Office can and must do more to help. Well, there's been an interesting subset to this story because in Brunei, the Sultan is part of this huge investment group. Now, they own 9 of the world's most luxurious and glamorous holidays and hotels, and that caused that's caused celebrities to talk out. George Clooney, for example, who said, "We're putting money directly into the pockets of men who choose to stone and whip to death their own citizens." He says we're boycotting those hotels. It includes, for example, the Dorchester in London. And that's something that he's largely had lots of support from other celebrities. Elton John, for example, has said, "I commend my friend for taking a stand against the anti-gay discrimination and bigotry taking place," noting here the Beverly Hills Hotel, which is also implicated. Celebrities have been calling out en masse, saying those of us in Hollywood, those elites that visit these hotels, we shouldn't, because we cannot support and we condemn what's happening in Brunei.